But during that time, treatment days were on Tuesdays, and on Fridays, we went to the St. Peter's Ceilidh. And we did that for 6 Fridays in a row. And nowadays, if I come home to PEI, don't even ask me to do anything else on a Friday, because that's where I'm going, me and Dad. And the first time we went, I noticed that Dad was drinking bottled 7-Up, and everybody else in the whole room was drinking canned 7-Up. And I wondered where this bottle came from. But the second time we were going, I get out of the shower, I walked up to the front, and I saw my dad with this bottle of 7-Up and a funnel and a bottle of whiskey. I don't think when you're in your 90s you have to sneak booze into the dance anymore. But anyway, I just came to love this whole event, the St. Peter's Ceilidh. It's absolutely beautiful, and there are all these wonderful old couples that are there dancing away, like just floating around the dance floor like they're in some fancy ballroom. And guys, that is life goals. You want to get to that situation where you're in your 80s and 90s and dancing around. I wrote the song about St. Peter's Ceilidh. Well, I hope we're romancing and singing and dancing when we get to 80 or so. We'll be quite the pair, dancing on air at the Ceilidh like Nora and Joe. I'll still love yoodles, we'll do dipsy doodles and spins and join in sets. Oh, it don't get much sweeter. Friday night in St. Peter's at the Ceilidh, it's as good as it gets. Hope it comes true, just me and you. Hope that can beat us someday. We'll be light as a feather, we dance together at the hall down in St. Peter's Bay. Well, dance like Bojangles till sandwich triangles are served with the treats and the tea. Won't it be nifty when they draw 50-50? They call the same number as me. Oh, I'll be in heaven sipping whiskey and 7. I snuck past the girls at the door. It's the sound of the band, the touch of your hand, and the slip of the salt on the floor. Hope it comes true, just me and you. Hope that can be us someday. We'll be light as a feather, we dance together at the hall down in St. Peter's Bay. Well, I hope we're romancing and singing and dancing when we get to 80 or so. We'll be quite the pair, dancing on air at the Ceilidh like Nora and Joe. I'll still love yoodles, we'll do dipsy doodles and spins and join in the sets. Oh, it don't get much sweeter. Friday night in St. Peter's at the Ceilidh, it's as good as it gets. Hope it comes true, just me and you. Hope that can be us someday. We'll be light as a feather, we dance together at the hall down in St. Peter's Bay. We'll be light as a feather, we dance together at the hall down in St. Peter's Bay. Thanks a lot, you guys. St. Peter's Ceilidh is just an amazing thing. You guys should all check it out sometime. Nearly 30 years ago, a Volkswagen bus, 1972 Volkswagen bus, orange in color, by the name of Hal, pulled into my mom and dad's driveway, and my two best friends on the planet get out of that bus. We all went outside. Me and Kate and Emma stood in front of that van. My dad took the picture, and we headed off down the lane and all the way to the Pacific Ocean. And a lot of stuff happened over those 30 years. But a few years ago, I was home and I was looking underneath my dad's bed through this old Tupperware container of pictures. And God, I found that picture. And I was shocked at how thin I used to be. And how thick my hair was. But when I was staring at that picture, I was just absolutely overcome with nostalgia for that time. And it didn't seem right to take that physical photograph out of my dad's house. So I got out my iPhone and I took a picture of the picture so I could just have it with me all the time. It's embarrassing how much I go back to that photo. This is a song called Picture of a Photograph. Got a picture of a photograph. I took it with my phone. 3 peas in a pod the day we left home. We took some pics to say goodbye. We gave our folks our best. We drove down the lane and then we headed west. Well, it's been a long time since that day. There were bumps along the way. The road was long, we took it to the end. And I wish we could do it all again. I wish we could do it all again. Jesus, would you look at us? We were there, the thick and thin. The world's greatest adventure was about to begin. And I remember singing songs, laughing till we cried, spending every moment side by side by side. It's been a long time since that day. There were bumps along the way. The road was long, we took it to the end. And I wish we could do it all again. I wish we could do it all again. How it felt to have no doubt, wish I could recall. I can't remember how it felt to know it all. But things were bright, black and white, crystal clean and clear. It sure got foggy on that road from there to here. And it's been a long time since that day. There were bumps along the way. The road was long, we took it to the end. And I wish we could do it all again. 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 Thanks, you guys. That is a hard song for me to sing. Tomorrow morning I'm going to get up and do something I've been doing a few times a year for nearly 30 years. And I still suck at it. It's leaving PEI. But every time I do that, I sneak something stupid onto the plane, like clams or moonshine or holy water or dirt. And every time I'm at the airport, I'm thinking that probably every other suitcase has got something in there. It's stupid. So I just thought it was kind of a silly thing. So I wrote this song. It's called Few Tastes of Home. 2 weeks at home, heading back west. I had a great time, but I got no rest. Packed my bags and made sure to take some treats. Checking in at YYG, I weighed my bags and it's plain to see one of them was 100 pounds at least. Security man at the conveyor belt, well, he couldn't believe the way he felt. He said, "What you got in that bag, the kitchen sink?" We sat it down, I looked at him, I said, "Hey there, Andy, that's Andy Wim. Just a few tastes of home, now let me think. It's just a case of clams and some holy water, maple syrup for my daughter, just the stuff I take back every time. Hand me out sauces, the cat's meow, mustard pickles, bottle of chow, and of course, I can't leave home without a quart of shine." The other end of the x-ray machine, Dave was staring at the x-ray screen. He said, "Steve, I see what's in this bag, you know." "I know that, Dave, but it's all in line with the regulations. Set to shine, I got that from you 2 nights ago." "It's just a case of clams and some holy water, maple syrup for my daughter, just the stuff I take back every time. Hand me out sauces, the cat's meow, mustard pickles, bottle of chow, and of course I can't leave home without a quart of shine." Oh, that bottle of pickled beets, I guess, and a pound of red dirt, no more, no less, and a box of lobsters, oysters from Malpac Bay. Summer savory and a bag of spuds, a case of Alpine to share with my buds, 2 loaves of bread, some biscuits, and a pie from Maine. And a case of clams and some holy water, maple syrup for my daughter, just the stuff I take back every time. Hand me out sauces, the cat's meow, mustard pickles, bottle of chow, and of course I can't leave home without a quart of shine. And of course I can't leave home without a quart of shine. Thanks, guys. That's called A Few Tastes of Home. That's sound out there. Okay, you guys can hear everything okay? I was doom scrolling on Facebook one time, and I discovered this article on the UPEI website about the Rubber Boot Band. And so I clicked on it, I read it, it was very interesting. And then there was other articles about different entertainers from Kings County. I think there was other counties too, but who cares, right? So I started scrolling through these other entertainers of Kings County, and I discovered that there was a man in there by the name of Dan Summers. And I was like, Dan Summers, who's this? So I clicked on it, and the first sentence says, Dan Summers was known to be a wonderful singer and songwriter and good for nothing else. That's what it says on the UPEI website. So I went on to read about Dan Summers and how he eked out a living writing custom songs for people. And his most famous song is called The Crooked Rib, and people sing it around here sometimes. And he wrote that when he was in jail. The man had his wife because she wouldn't come bail him out. So I asked Dad who this Dan Summers character is, and he said, it's his grandfather, so my great-grandfather. And I was just shocked, about all this. So Dad started telling me the story of the old place. And you know how Dad is, sometimes he just goes on, and you have to get him to shut up. So he told me the whole story of the old place, right from when Hector McNeil got on a boat at the Isle of Barra in the Outer Hebrides of Scotland, sailed across the Atlantic Ocean, met Kitty Campbell. They attained some land from the Sparrows, which was the native family living there at the time, and they built a house at the old place. And they had 3 children. 2 of them sailed to California and never came back. One of them stayed. Her name was Mary Ann. Mary Ann got hooked up with this Dan Summers character. And they had a family. And the story of that family would put the Yellowstone franchise to shame. It's just so dramatic and interesting, you wouldn't believe it. One of those brothers was shot at the old place, and he may have survived, but they brought him into the house and tried to get the bullet out on the kitchen table, and he bled to death right there in the house at the old place. Dan took 2 of the sons down to Chicago to visit some family, and he came back without the boys. He left them behind, and that was a surprise to everybody. One of those boys was killed in an industrial accident. The other boy became a famous singer and actor in the vaudeville era. So we're down to 3 kids living at the old place, and the descendants of those kids are mostly filling this room right now, and that's pretty cool. This song about the old place. That old field where the cattle graze was stood at home in bygone days. Just a shack that had no frills, halfway from here to Woodville Mills. Hector came from the Hebrides. He left Barrow, sailed the seas. He met Kitty and settled down, and they built their house on the Sparrow's ground. In the old place where the cattle graze, stood a home in bygone days. Now it's just a field, not much to see, but it holds the roots of the family tree. It holds the roots of the family tree. Hector and Kitty and Mary Ann, she grew up, along came Dan. She let Dan move on in, and for a few years they lived in sin. With their first boy, they were blessed. They went to church and they confessed. For their penance they did pay, on hands and knees on their wedding day. In the old place where the cattle graze, stood a home in bygone days. Now it's just a field, not much to see, but it holds the roots of the family tree. It holds the roots of the family tree. Dad had Daddy's blacksmith trade. He was known for the songs he made. He rode the crooked rib in jail when Mary Ann wouldn't pay his bail. And he could sing, and that's for sure, but he was good for songs and nothing more. He lived hard and then died young, no thanks to the booze and the blacksmith's loan. In the old place where the cattle graze, stood a home in bygone days. Now it's just a field, not much to see, but it holds the roots of the family tree. It holds the roots of the family tree. 6 kids left to tend the farm. 1 got shot behind the barn. Some went near and some went far, and 1 was a vaudeville acting star. Some went away and never came back. 1 stayed here and that was Jack. Jack had Dad, Dad had me. I'm another branch of that family tree. In the old place where the cattle graze, stood a home in bygone days. Now it's just a field, not much to see, but it holds the roots of the family tree. It holds the roots of the family tree. Holds the roots of the family tree. Holds the roots of the family tree. That's the story of the old place. Important fact I forgot to mention. Two important facts. When Dan first moved in with Mary Ann, they lived out of wedlock for a time, and of course that would be a big deal now, but it was a very big deal back then. So as penance, on their wedding day, they had to crawl up the aisle to the altar to get married in St. George's Church. It's a crazy part of that story. I don't think Corey would be down for that. Everybody in here knows my Uncle Charles. And you know that when he got a bit older after Clemmy was passed, he spent a lot of time in that kitchen chair at the farmhouse. And he didn't really have much need of traveling very far from that chair. But I was home one time and he told me that once a year he makes a trip, gets in the car, he goes down to the church on his anniversary, he stands up at the altar, he closes his eyes so he can see Clemmy coming up the aisle. That's just such a beautiful image that he put in my mind. I had to find a way to put it in other people's minds. So I wrote this song. It was the best day of that summer. The wind was warm and the hay was high. He was standing at the altar. It was the third day of July. He could see her in the entrance, pretty dress and the biggest smile. He couldn't wait for her to join him. Her daddy marched her down the aisle. He was standing at the altar. Oh, my darling Clementine, I've been waiting for so long now. Darling, put your hand in mine. He mostly stays home with his memories. He doesn't stray far from his chair. And once a year he'll make the journey, knowing she is waiting there. And he'll recite the vows he told her. He still remembers every word. He shuts his eyes so he can see her like he did July the 3rd. He was standing at the altar. Oh, my darling Clementine, I've been waiting for so long now. Darling, put your hand in mine. someday he'll go to meet his maker, and all that pain will turn to joy. He'll find the ones left before him, both his wives and his first boy. And she will see him in the entrance, his best suit and the biggest smile. And she will wait for him to join him. They will march him down the aisle. She'll be standing at the altar. Oh, my darling Clementine, I've been waiting for so long now. Darling, put your hand in mine. That's the saddest song I'm going to sing today, you guys. So. About a decade ago, I had to come home to Corey and make a confession. I had been seeing someone else. Most days on the way home from work, I was stopping at the Burnaby SPCA and walking this crazy dog named Solo. And he had been in the pound for months, and I knew that he had one chance left at life, and it was me. And the time had come for me to take him home, and I had to let Corey know. But I knew with lots of love and consistency, he would turn into be a good boy, because he was absolutely crazy in the pound. And it took quite a long time before we came to the realization that I had made a huge mistake. He never turned into that good boy, but I got a good song out of it. This is it. Every word in this song is true. Well, he's at Heinz 57 with some shepherd in the mix. House trained when we got him, and we taught him some tricks. We dug a hole in the mattress, right down to the springs. He's a good dog, but he just does bad things. When I first met him at the shelter, he nearly lost his mind. Months in the jail cell where he got left behind. If I take him home and I love him, he'll get better, I just know. 5 years come and gone, still crazy as the crows. Cause he's our Heinz 57 with some shepherd in the mix. House trained when we got him, and we taught him some tricks. We dug a hole in the mattress, right down to the springs. He's a good dog, he just does bad things. Once the baby used the potty, was the worst I'd ever seen. By the time I got the kid cleaned up, the potty was licked clean. Wasn't really his fault, just a case of my bad luck. He ate a pound of butter and he barfed it in my trunk. Cause he's a Heinz 57 with some shepherd in the mix. House trained when we got him, and we taught him some tricks. We dug a hole in the mattress, right down to the springs. He's a good dog, he just does bad things. He won't come when you call him unless you got some treats. Dislocate your shoulder when you walk him with a leash. He sheds more fur than a fox farm, we vacuum twice a day. I know why his family dropped him off and drove away. Cause he's a Heinz 57 57 with some shepherd in the mix. House trained when we got him, and we taught him some tricks. We dug a hole in the mattress, right down to the springs. He's a good dog, he just does bad things. Yeah, he's a good dog, he just does bad things. Guys, I have one more song and then we're gonna have a little break, okay? This one, so far you guys have got away scot-free, but now it's time to do a little bit of work. I need some sing-along help for you guys. You'll know your part when it comes. On the family farm back in St. George's, all the way, you guys wouldn't even know where it is, it's so far away. There was a structure there, an old barn, and even when we were kids, that barn was so old and dilapidated that we weren't allowed to go in there and play because it could fall down at any minute. Or maybe somebody was growing weed in there. But for the sake of the story, let's just say it was going to fall down any minute. So anyway, after I moved away, the decision was made on the farm to tear that barn down before it fell down and hurt somebody. So the boys brought up the big old tractor and they backed her up to that barn. They wrapped some chains around the frame and they gave it a big tug, but that barn did not budge 1 inch. But the Summerses are a stubborn bunch. They went down and they got the big old Massey and they backed her up. They hooked up those chains, but still that barn stood strong. And I just love that idea, you know, that this great big old modern machine couldn't stand up to this old structure because it was built in the old-fashioned ways of construction with bent knees and hand-hewn big old beams, you know. And I just imagine those people who built that barn up above looking down saying, bring on that tractor, this barn is not going anywhere. We built her strong, foundations deep, we're not gonna budge. I'm gonna start with the chorus, hope you guys sing along. It goes like this. Holler down, boys, holler down. She's no longer sound. Have to holler down. Try that. Holler down, boys, holler down. She's no longer sound. Have to holler down. That old barn seen some better days. Wasn't any doubt. The siding was all coming off and the bones were showing out. Had some paint at some point, but there was none left to be found. She won't stand another storm, boys. We'll have to holler down. Let's go. Holler down, boys, holler down. She's no longer sound. Have to holler down. Holler down, boys, holler down. She's no longer sound. Have to holler down. When they built that barn way back in the past, they used the old ways and they built her to last. Searched the forest and they found the trees with the straightest trunks and the bended knees. Well, they hooked up the horses, and they leveled the land, and they hauled home the logs and they squared them by hand, and they stood up the posts, lifted the beams, boarded her in and filled in the seams. Yep, looks pretty stupid to me. Holler down, boys, holler down. Let's go, you guys. She's no longer sound. We'll have to holler down. Holler down, boys, holler down. She's no longer sound. We'll have to holler down. Well, they built that loft for 10,000 bales, and they raced her to stand the storms and gales. Built her up strong, and they gave it their best. They knew that barn would stand up to the test. But we backed up the tractor, we hooked up the chains, we screwed in the shackle, and we took up the strain. We grinded the gears down to 4 low, and we stepped on the throttle, and we let the clutch go. We're gonna need a bigger tractor. So holler down, boys, holler down. She's no longer sound. We'll have to holler down. Holler down, boys, holler down. She's no longer sound. We'll have to holler down. But the barn didn't budge, didn't even creak. Chains all broke and the tractors are weak. Built that barn, the best I knew how. Stood there for years, it wasn't coming down now. Well, we kept trying tractors, but they all failed. Every joint was pegged, not one was nailed. The barn stood there 100 years at least. It was way too strong for man, or wind, or beast, or tractor. Holler down, boys, holler down. Let's go, you guys. She's no longer sound. We'll have to holler down. Holler down, boys, holler down. She's no longer sound. We'll have to holler down. Holler down, boys, holler down. She's no longer sound. We'll have to holler down. Holler down, boys, holler down. She's no longer sound. We'll have to holler down. You guys are awesome. We're gonna have a little break. Be back here in a few minutes, okay? Don't go anywhere.